Hi guys. So this one's going to be a very quick YouTube video. Obviously, a couple of things kind of happened and a couple of things happening, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still pretty much the same kind of overall position, right? So, um, I suppose let me start with this, right? So earlier on today, I actually put a post out. Just received an editor's pick on TradingView for using Chat GPT with TradingView and how to ultimately use this tool to create indicators kind of for yourself, right? So I've just put that kind of out there. This is the first thing, right? But the indicator that I made in the actual video, I've actually just posted into the visitor section. Right? So you'll see the link to the video, and you can actually download this and upload it as your own indicator, play around with it, etc., or even get the AI to play around with it for you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, just coming into, I guess, what I've already said, right? So let me kind of come back to these candles. So a couple of clear things, right? When I when I looked at where we've been, I guess, over these last couple of months, nothing's really changed, right? And although people are saying, oh, well, what if we've had the spring and what about this and what about, so let me just kind of clarify as quick as I can, right? The issue, if we were to assume a spring, is a couple of things. So, first things first, if we look at this particular move down, right, we've probably got fib extension. If we come down, let's just assume an A followed by a B into a C, right? So clearly we've had a 0.618 kind of bounce just below, and then basically back down through it. So clear value area, right, created. That's the first thing. So let's assume, right, that everybody wants this to go off to the moon right now. If we were to say we've now had a spring, we would have to class this as the bottom, right? Which, just by clear definition, you'd have probably a little one in here, a two, followed by, let's assume, a three, a four, right, and a five, okay? So let me just kind of put these in and put this into perspective as to why I don't believe we're anywhere near done just yet. If I now come in and use these extensions, right, and go, one, two, three, then clear as day, 2618 tagged, right? So that gives us a three, expanded flat four, right, back down to the one level. So, the chances are, right, this is a nice move up and everybody's excited. Everybody thinks this is going to $1 million in 90 days. We've now just hit the 3618, right? Even if we were to move on up to the 4618, we're talking about 30K, right? 30K level. Now, let's put some sense into this move. It's come from the low, right? Let's assume that we now have a zero and it's going to be our kind of smaller degree one of a bigger picture, right? We'd have to come back down. Let's assume we come back down 50% plus, right? So I'm going to come into just kind of this kind of region, right? Now what you're looking at is on the bigger move. You're looking at a move that will probably take us 44K, right? So we'd be seeing basically a zero, a one, back down two, right? We'd probably come then this one on the 1.618, a four back down along the one level, right? And then we'd extend up to the 2.618, right? Being basically back around here. So even with the best will in the world, that's not really an interesting kind of trade, right? So the reason that I don't believe that we're actually done yet, and the reason I don't believe that this is, the scenario. I mean, it's definitely a scenario, but I think that there's a bit more to it than that, right? Now, the reason I think that there's a little bit more to it than that, let me get rid of some of these pencil marks. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so bear in mind 60K roughly, right, with scenario kind of number one, right? Now, the second point is I've talked about obviously this point and figure level. I've posted a few posts about this and how to use this. If you're already a follower, you're already a subscriber, you guys will already know kind of all of this, right? But if you're not and you're new to this, I've shown a couple of times how to kind of calculate these target levels, these areas, these areas of kind of interest, I guess. Now, the one thing for me is looking at the bottom range. You know, we've come up to the point and figure this is the overall. Although it's a large target area, there's two kind of projected figures, and then I've just put a 50% marker in between the two as an optimal kind of situation. Right? So we've come on up and we've clearly slowed down. Right. So there's the first thing. The second thing is I'm going to go back to November last year, and I talked about two things: the traffic light pull, right? So here's the post from November, and again, this was for subscribers, right? This was November the 13th, and why these three local areas, right, followed by the next three areas, followed by the big move, right? Why these are going to be interesting depending on the character on the web. Okay. Now, as you can see from November to now, what we've actually done is we've gone from below, we've come up and tagged the bottom and was rejected. We've come all the way straight through and only tagged the top. Right? We've done exactly the same thing. Then we've created this ascending move before coming back down. Right? No grab of liquidity into the red region, back up to the very top of the orange, right? And then straight back down to the 50% marker of the red, right? Grabbing liquidity. Straight back up to the very top, a slight slowdown, right? Then basically a poke all the way into this top region, right? So you can see how respectful this is becoming as a whole, right? Like I said, this is from November last year, right? So with that being said, the next part for me is this. The accumulation, again, this is from October last year, right? The reason that I think we're still kind of early on is that if you guys remembered, right, the red level that I had in and around this could have been this, right? But we didn't get the STB down here. We've actually come back up, only testing the prior range, right? So for me, this is the first test in a much larger scale schematic. Now, my thinking, my logic here is we come down and test this based on purely this. Right. Now, just quickly, I'm going to finish off with this. Just quickly, the daily, we're in no man's land pointing up, which means we're likely to fill the wick. Weekly, we're already in the overbought territory. And monthly, we're actually already, with a couple of days left to go, we're already near enough that overbought territory. So what do I see right now? This isn't going to the moon, right? Not just yet. So hold your horses, right? Take a look at the stochastic levels and just stay tuned in terms of what comes next, right? Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.